Guys, feast your eyes on one of the most highly coveted collectible big bore super bikes ever made. This is a 1984 Suzuki GS1150ES. It was not only the fastest production motorcycle made in 1984, but the fastest production motor vehicle ever sold to the public up to that point. It was at 10.40 seconds and quarter mile, and it was also the end of an era. It was the end of Suzuki's big bore air-cooled GS line of motorcycles. Came standard with an 1135cc air-cooled double overhead cam inline 4 with 16 valves, electronic ignition, 4 Mikuni carburetors, and a 4-into-2 exhaust system. Now this bike right here, if you know anything about super bikes and drag racing in Connecticut, then you knew Lou Jolly, Big Lou from Lou's Cycle and Sled. Lou was a legend, is a legend in this area. He's since retired. This is 40 years ago, his heyday. He was the guru. He had a dyno testing room. And the coolest part about it is his shop was right behind my computer store. So for 30 years, when I was doing something I didn't really, well, 25 anyways, working at the computer shop, I freaking really didn't like my job, but I was over at Lou's shop every day, checking out the cool bikes. That's how I take my break. That's how I realized I needed to get out of the computer industry and into the motorcycle industry. And 15 years ago, I've done that, and the rest is history. But Lou was a specialist with these Suzukis. This is what he liked to use, and he built multiple AMA national championship caliber race bikes that were based off of this exact platform right here. This particular one was Lou's own street bike. He set it up for street use, so no extended swing arm, nothing too radical on it, street legal pipe, everything else. But he did do all the hot rod tricks that you'd want to do in the day. It has the big bore piston kit, which is 1197 cc's. It has the G4 web cams. It has the 38 millimeter flat side Mikuni carburetors, which make that clackety sound at idle. Those are the same carbs they'd run at the drag strip. A Pingo high flow fuel pickup, because you need it with that big carb. And then you put on an Axel high output coils with the solid core wires. And of course, the Star Cycle Sidewinder exhaust system. It's an iconic classic exhaust system. Those are pretty much unavailable. That was the pipe he'd run without a baffle on the drag strip. So stock, the bikes were super fast. When Lou was done with them, they were 9-second monsters. This bike with the right rider on it would be a 9-second, high nines quarter, or mid to high nines quarter mile. Stock there at 10.47. So this was the fastest production super bike made in the day, and to this day, it still holds its own. It was factory rated for about 125 horsepower. This one would be substantially more. So 10-second quarter mile, 1150cc monster set a new superbike record with the mad dash and the quarter mile of 10.47 seconds at 127.8 miles an hour. That's straight up moving, man. It was the quickest and fastest production motorcycle ever tested up to that point. Pee Wee Gleason was a pilot that raced it, and the day that he set the record, he actually said that that the conditions sucked, and that there was a lot more left in the bike, and they went on to do faster times than that. So this was basically a reworked GS1000 engine tucked into this all-new chassis. The old engine debuted in 1980, so this engine had been around for quite some time and had proven itself in road racing, endurance racing, superbike racing, and of course drag racing. It debuted in 1980 with 4 valves per cylinder, twin cams, and rave reviews. So this new engine, in the quotation marks new, because it's not really a new engine, had quite a few improvements. A lot of hot rod stuff that they were doing on the drag bikes, they did in the production motorcycle with the tried and true increasement of bigger displacement, 2 millimeter wider bore, bigger exhaust ports, and a little more aggressive porting. So in stock, it came with a 36 millimeter Mikuni carbs. Now Lou took it to the next level, man. 1197cc high compression pistons with the G4 web cams, went up 2 millimeters on the carbs, free flowing exhaust, of course free flowing intake, cleaned up the ports on it. So this thing is an absolute joy to ride. It's got lots of monsters torque down low. And the best part about it is, since Lou owned a shop, guys, like me, he didn't put a lot of miles on his bike. He was riding everybody else's bikes all week long, and usually worked a lot of weekends. It's not easy making a living in this business. Lou has 5 kids too, guys. So He had a big family to take care of. His kids were really into football, so he didn't get to ride that much. So this thing only turned 16,000 miles. This guy, it's 40 years old with 16,000 miles. Most single guys will put that much in on a season, but because it has no miles on it and he kept it indoors, look at the fit and finish on this, guys. This is the original factory paint job on it. Show them the forks. Those are the PDF forks. Huge upgrade over the previous generation. That's a positive dampening force fork. They were adjustable. They did have air. It does have air adjustable and dampening adjustment on it. And it came from the factory with the gold 4-piston calipers, dual piston front brakes, and the front rotors were slotted, so if you ever got caught in the rain, you wouldn't lose your brake performance. That's a brand new Bridgestone Battle Axe front tire on there that the man in mechanics just put on there last week. It's got a brand new front tire on it, and he went through the whole bike, top to bottom. This bike originally sold, it was reasonably priced, brand new, at $47.85, which just to give you an idea what these are going for. I know a collector down south who's got about 30 classic bikes we're trying to buy. He's got 5 or 6 of these. Every one of them hasn't run in 35 years, needs complete restorations, and he wants a minimum of $4,500 each. Why? Because they're unobtainium. There's just none around. So to find one that needs work, you're going to spend $4 to $5 grand. To find one that had a Lou Cycle and Sled built performance engine in mint original condition with low miles and original paint, well, they just don't exist. So I punched the $47.85 into an inflation calculator. Ironically, it came out 40 years later at just under 16,000, which is what a new GSXR 1000, the modern version of this, is 16,499 plus tax, tags and everything else. So to buy a new one, you're probably going to drop 18 to 20 grand by the time you do financing and everything, unless you pay cash. Maybe you get one for 17.5 out the door. I don't know, and it's going to go down in value for the next 5 to 15 years. It's going to drop in value, then it'll start going up. This bike has been appreciating in value for the last 20 years, and for good reason. One, most of them were ridden into the freaking ground. Unlike today's super bikes, which are sort of uncomfortable ergonomics, this was like a super touring bike. The fairing gives you almost 3/4 coverage. It's a lot taller than most fairings of today. Look at the bars. They're 4 inches above the triple clamps, so the bars are actually you're not bending over the whole time. I'm 6'2" and I'm comfortable on it. It's a bike you could hop on with your honey and go to the beach, put some bags on it and take it cross country if you wanted to. But today, in today's dollar, it's a $16,000 motorcycle with inflation to get a new one. So this thing pulls hard down low and builds steadily to about 9,000 RPM. I don't think I went over 7,200 because, well, frankly, on the street, you got to have a big straightaway to open it up. And this thing will absolutely pin the speedometer 150 miles per hour. It'll do 150 all day long. Hell, it'll do 130 in the quarter. So I don't know what the exact top speed is, but it'll pin the speedometer for sure. This thing will jerk your arms out of their sockets and rip your house off the foundation for sure. No doubt about that. So this is a bike they've taken out to the Bonneville Salt Flats, and this engine's competed in every form of racing known to man. Now, take a look at the frame. Zoom in on the frame. This is a marvelous, for that era, square tube frame. It's much stiffer than the round tube frame on the GS1000 it replaced, and the wheelbase is 2 inches longer than any superbike of that era. So your stability at 150 miles an hour is very good. Now, I worked at New England Cycle Sales in 1983, 84, 85. I almost died on one of these bikes. I was test riding it and was doing about maybe 100, 110 on a back road, Route 44. It's like a dual lane country load, and someone pulled out in front of me and I locked up the rear tire, and slid by him doing about 50. But on the highway, I had that thing up to 140 miles an hour, and it was rock solid. So I worked at the Suzuki shop when these bikes first came out. I'm very familiar with this bike, and then I watched Lou Jolly turn them into national championship caliber winning superbike and drag racing bikes with the dyno. So his work, the components he used on this, the carb, the exhaust, the pistons, the cam, the intake, everything he did. This isn't like a hope it works, bolted on and hope for the best. This is a guy who built This is what he did for a living. He built these bikes, just like he's like the Manic mechanic, but retired. But this was his specialty, is what he did. So the components on this bike just flat out work. So speaking of the Manic mechanic, I gave the bike to him, said, Jeff, I want you to go through it top to bottom, give me a full eval on it. So he went through it. The carbs hadn't been cleaned in a few years, so he went through, cleaned the carbs, synced and tuned them, set the fuel screws, replaced the fuel lines, rinsed out the tank, put some VP ethanol-free fuel in it, tested the charge rate, 14.8 volts, put new spark plugs in it, put a new maintenance-free battery in it, and installed that beautiful new... Actually, no, he didn't put a he didn't put a new chain in. I thought he'd put a new gold chain. We put a new gold chain on everything. I guess he figured this one was fine, so he didn't put the gold chain on it. If you want a gold chain, we'll put one on there for you for a couple $100, no big deal. So let's see. His note said install new gold chain after clean. Okay, so I guess if you want a chain, we'll put one on there. But so new NGK plugs, new oil filter, new 1040 Spectral oil, new fuel lines, and it says new gold chain not installed yet. So I guess he elected to leave that one on there. The rear tire's got 90% tread left on it. So he didn't change the tire out. If you look at the fit and finish on the bike, it is all original. This bike's 100% original cosmetically, except for this windscreen, which the original 40-year-old windscreen was replaced with a zero gravity screen. If you look at the metallic blue paint, one of my favorite paint codes, I absolutely freaking love this color. The 69 Chevelle SS came with this color. It was blue and white. Suzuki has been running blue and white. I think it matches my jacket too, but just a kick-ass machine. Long wheelbase, Superbike power, the correct upgrades that you'd want for one, and no evidence of it being dropped or mishandled. Lou was an expert level rider, expertly maintained, oils changed religiously. You'd be hard pressed to find a nicer one, that's for damn sure. And as far as buying a Craigslist turd and trying to turn it into this, good luck with that. The carbs alone are $1,500. The exhaust is going to set you back $750. Then the big bore kit, then the cams. You're going to drop $5 grand building the motor, and then you got to restore it cosmetically and get everything else done. You're going to drop more. It'd be difficult to replace a bike for what the buy it now price. That's all I'm saying. And this one, I know the full history. Lou's one of the best guys to ever run a speed shop in the industry. He's since retired. This was his baby. So if you have any questions about it, give us a call, 860-454-7024. My son Kenny Jr. Can help you with the financing and ship this bike anywhere in the world for you. And rest assured, this one's Kaplan America approved. It's Lou Jolly approved, and it certainly has my seal of approval. The gold calipers, that's the original finish on the gold calipers. The original rotors are intact. More proof this thing's got no miles. Original mags. Just a world-class, highly preserved, museum quality 1150ES that's got the proper engine build on it. It's even got a battery tender on it. So if you're not gonna use it as a daily, this little plug right here, you plug it into the wall. It's got ethanol-free fuel on it, so it's not gonna gum up your carbs. She's good for another 40 years. Just take care of it. It'll outlast all of us. Anyways, God bless Lou Jolly. He's an awesome dude. Tons of respect for Lou. I spent a lot of time in his shop, right behind my shop, checking out all the builds he was doing. Almost every day I'd be back there. And it's an honor to have his bike in our possession, if only for a short time, you know. Look at the aluminum, the aluminum casting for the peg mount, man, and the passenger pegs. I mean, it's really cool, and those are hard pieces to replace if something happened. You can see the pegs, the original pegs and levers are all intact, and the engine cases are in beautiful shape. Anyways, I'm probably rambling, but thank you for watching. God bless Lou Jolly, and God bless America.